What's up, y'all? Marcus Fraze from Teachable Tuesdays, here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Thank you for joining me today. Greatly appreciate it. As always, if you could, hit the like button, subscribe button, notification button, so that way you can stay up to date with all of my future Teachable Tuesdays videos. And as always, please share the video. Liking and actually sharing the video does a lot more than subscribing. But hey, still subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Channel is growing. Would love to have you on board. Today, I'm going to give you a double header. Now, this was inspired by a content creator who I think is really dope. His name is Shisha Zed. He does the coffee podcast. His motto is drink the coffee and make you feel better. Love the channel. Big advocate for men. And a lot of times he does like 3 or 4 things in like one long video, and then like he'll break them up into small segments and release it like that. So today I'm going to give you 2. So this video is going to be a little bit longer than normal, but I think you guys are going to enjoy and appreciate what we have to talk about today. The first topic actually comes from Proud Black Fathers. It's a group on Facebook, and Kev on Stage, shout out to him. He did a video about it, and I decided to, give my own input, and I want to see what you guys think about this. Now, granted, my standpoint may not be as valid as Kev on Stage's because he's actually a father. So, he could definitely give that perspective as a father. I'm not a father as of yet. Maybe one day, we'll see in God's timing. But I just want to hear what you guys have to think, and I'll give my thoughts. So, the guy, by the way, this is not Kev on Stage saying this. This is a random guy. He says, I need to get something off my chest. Yesterday, my stepdaughter graduated, and I wasn't invited. I've been in her life since she was 4 months old. Married her mother when she turned 2. I've been there consistent, showing up, providing, loving her like my own. But come graduation day, I wasn't given a seat. Yikes. Like, word, all right. They told me there were only 8 tickets. Let me tell you who made the list. Well, let's find out. My wife. Okay. Her. Obviously. Wait a minute. Doesn't she get 8 tickets outside of that? That's weird. That's how most graduations work. Okay, let's keep reading. Her 2 sisters, okay, her biological dad, her uncle, her grandma, her aunt, and her boyfriend. I'm assuming the girl's boyfriend. 8 tickets, and I wasn't one of them. Bet. So, needless to say, he wasn't too happy. He was not too happy. Now, before we get into these comments, let me go ahead and read my thoughts. I think in addition to that, there's more. I don't know why I didn't put the other part. But basically, in a nutshell, he removed her from his insurance, and there was some other stuff that he was going to pay for her. He decided not to do that. He kind of went halfway scorched earth. I ain't going to say full scorched earth, but he was pretty upset. So I'm going to add that part in there. I do remember seeing that part. I don't know why it didn't copy that part on there. But yeah, needless to say, he's clearly upset. Now, I'm going to give my thoughts, and then we're going to go ahead and read some of these comments. He does definitely have a right to be upset. Definitely. If he was there and the main source of provision for all of those years, there is no reason why he shouldn't have got a ticket. So he definitely has the right to be upset. Now, would I have removed her from the insurance and all that good stuff? I wouldn't have done that, but I definitely would have had a conversation with the mother, aka my wife, first about the matter, because some people could have been removed off that list. The wife, okay. The aunts and uncles, one of them could have been removed, in my personal opinion. I'm sorry. I ain't gonna remove grandma. Keep grandma there. Biological dad, I'm gonna say it depends. Was the dad active in her life still? If yes, then yeah, he needs to get a ticket. If not, that's up for debate, right? But if anything, one of them aunts or uncles definitely could have been removed. The boyfriend, I know some people might say remove the boyfriend, but somebody could have been removed so that way the stepdad could have got in. I'm just saying, I think that's fair. If he's a main source of provision, at the very least, he needs to get an invite, right? Because I know I'm thinking about my graduation. I had, my undergrad graduation from college. And I don't know if this is high school or college or whatever. I think this is high school. But I think I had 10 tickets. For sure, without a doubt. My mom, my dad, my stepdad and my stepmom were going to be on there. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No matter who else was coming, those four are essential in raising me to the man that I am today. So they were going to be at graduation. I don't care what anybody else said. If I only had 5 tickets, it would have been those 4. And then I would have had to play Russian roulette to see what grandparent would have won. Okay? So I'm just saying. But that's just my thought. Y'all leave a comment below. Tell me, who do you think should have been left out? Because I personally think the stepfather should have been invited. Again, I don't think he should have went scorched earth and just removed her from a whole bunch of stuff. I would have definitely had a conversation with the wife, but I can understand his frustration. Let's read some of these comments. So, lady, I don't have her name cut up, but she says, I'm stuck on he's taking care of her medical insurance and car insurance, and they couldn't even bother to give him a ticket. What? I don't blame him for removing her from his coverage. The way he did it was wrong. Could have had a conversation. I'm passing the responsibility on to you now, I guess the wife. You have X amount of days to make the switch, something to give him time. So the way in which he did it was very vindictive, but I didn't think it's vindictive to remove her. Okay. Yeah, agreed. He could have handled that a little bit better. Most definitely. T Breeze says, I'm with dude. The mama was totally out of line. It also seems like it was kind of last minute notice, because if he knew ahead of time, he could have gotten back on the road. So I guess he was on the road. I didn't get that part. So they've been going over this list for a long time. You mean to tell me baby girl couldn't ask not one other classmate for the extra ticket? Nah, there are so many ways to have done right by him. They chose not to have him there. That is an option, true. Because I know we did that in undergrad for college. In high school, I don't think we had that option. But in college, we definitely did. We had a limited amount of tickets. And, I know Cats was asking me, and I was like, I ain't got no extra tickets. Shoot, I had to make a way for all the family that I want to come down to get down. You know what I'm saying? So that definitely could have been an option. Or once again, one of them aunts or uncles could have been removed. Sorry, aunt. One of y'all got to go. Emmanuel Chim says feelings are valid, but the crash out is not. Intrigute Voice Bless says no, that man was right, and also I blame the mother for not correcting the issue. Yeah, the mother got to take the L on this one. Definitely should have been accountability on her part, because again, stepdad's been helping to raise you since you were 2, and we're gonna assume this is high school. You 18 or college, 21, 22. Nah, bump that. And at this point, I think it's college, because they say he had to drive. So I'm assuming this is probably college at this point. Simply Charlize says, right, watch it on the link the school provides for those who can't be in attendance. Sorry, but not sorry. He's an active parent. Why should the aunts come before him? Yeah, that part. Or uncles. Sally K84 says, not vindictive. Sometimes people mean more to us than we mean to them. He just moved into the position they regarded him always. Just because you work out with QBs at the game time, you're still on the practice team, not even on the sidelines. His wife has some explaining to do. We a package deal. Became separate but equal. Oof. Yeah, a lot of people not gonna like that. Let's read a few more. Prentice Powell, 1906, says, I feel him. He's poured into his wife and her child only to be shown that he doesn't know the place in their significant lives enough to attend a graduation. I'm sure the graduation ticket would have served as a huge thank you for raising me from his stepdaughter, as well as a thank you for helping raise my daughter from his wife. I don't know how much control she had over the ticket distribution, but him and his wife need to have a serious conversation. This is a great reminder to do what you can when you can contribute to someone's growth and development. Everyone has boundaries. And we'll read one more. Mighty Jocelyn says his wife should have addressed that on his behalf. Ain't no way auntie and uncles are going before the people who provide for you. Facts. Super facts. Couldn't have summed it up better. All right. So we're going to go ahead. It's a lot more comments, but for the sake of time, we're going to go ahead and move on to the next topic. Once again, leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys think. And again, if you are enjoying the video, make sure you subscribe. All right. So second video or second topic of the day. Couple reveals that you don't need to go on expensive dates to find the right person. I wholeheartedly agree. 500%. I'm a firm believer that, and this is for my fellas right here, ladies, fellas, if a woman likes you, you ain't got to take her on all these expensive dates. She gonna be okay with just being there. I've said this a million times. I've lived this experience a million times. Trust me, okay? So the caption says, more of the story. If the girl's actually single, actually likes you, and actually not poor, oof. I promise you don't have to spend hundreds or thousands on dates, gifts, bills, or be told to apply pressure. Her effort gonna match yours. It ain't just gonna match yours. In some cases, it might even exceed yours. Because ain't nothing more than when a woman is into you. You gonna know. I'm just saying. So, Polo Man says first date. That's his name. Says first date, I asked her to Olive Garden. I paid. Second date, she invited me hiking. It was free. Third date, she invited me to a Mexican restaurant. She paid. I like where it's going so far. Fourth and fifth date, we watched movies at my house. It was free. Oh, Netflix and chill. By the sixth date, he was already in a relationship. I don't know the span of time of these dates. Maybe they were a week apart. Maybe these were 2 weeks. But regardless, you see the reciprocation, right? Olive Garden, he paid. He took the initiative as a man. Second date, hiking. They probably decided together. Maybe she came up with the idea. Mexican restaurant, she paid. Fourth and fifth date, it was free. Guys, it does not take much to know if somebody likes you. If somebody likes you, best believe you won't have to pull teeth. You won't have to pull hair. You won't have to pull clothes. You won't have to pull invisible particles just to, you know what I'm saying? Hey, look, don't get me. I'm just a messenger. But I'm putting it out there. And again, I know this from personal experience. I've dealt with a lot of women who had high interest in me, and it was very easy. I've also dealt with a lot of women who didn't have high interest in me, and it was like I'm dragging my feet just to get them on a date. And by the time I get them on a date, I realize this wasn't even worth it. So he says, anyways, moral of the story, if the girl is actually single, actually likes you, actually not poor. Okay, we read that, my bad. Sorry, I was reading it over again. So let's read some of these comments. Let's Jam BFAB says, my girl got me from AutoZone. Our first date was a walk around the park and smoke. Okay, I don't smoke, but hey, you know, you do y'all. Sapphire Padilla says, fourth and fifth date, we know that he, I'm not going to say the word, but we see you, King. Keep it up, budget friendly. That's funny. Tar Freddy says, I thought Ice JJ Fish found him one. Stop! All right, let's move on to some serious comments. Oh my gosh, I'm done. I can't read this guy's name, but he's got cut out. But he says, I think we all know that it's these high maintenance SSA women, and these the only way I can show I love for girls by blowing mad money on a woman every single day or type of guy. And yes, I'm broke, LOL, but you fake I got money and want to be rich. People think you got money when y'all really don't. You may have more than me, but you're not a rich, LOL. But at the woman he has to next to him. I'm going to try to translate this. I think it's basically saying that a lot of women these days are high maintenance. And I'm not going to say a lot, but yes, there are definitely some that are high maintenance. And yeah, those are the ones you want to avoid, because those are the ones you are not going to make it, they're not going to make it easy for you. Somebody else, Tamara, says something very important. He said, if she not poor, meaning broke and begging, trying to get over it and fake spoiled. Okay, so before we go any further, we need to define poor, right? And broke. Because you'll hear a lot of women say, I don't want no broke man. And a lot of men will say, I don't want no poor woman. What is broke? What is poor? Y'all leave a comment below and tell me what you think. I think we need to properly define that. I'm going to do a video on that very soon. Kosi76 says, we know the social media is for clowns. It's a circus in real life. People enjoying whoever they want. In terms, lambs and birds feed into them crazy expectations. Okay. Officially, the Thai Tan says, I just know a man posted this, and I'm saying this as a man. Yes, a man did post this. Ramos47 _ says, the problem with dating today is women wanting a luxury lifestyle. Most can't even afford it themselves, depend on the man to provide that life. Yeah, very true. And I always tell my ladies, and ladies, listen carefully, you can't expect out of a man what you can't give for yourself. Now, in a sense, I understand why you do it. It's hypergamy, understandable. There's nothing wrong with that, fellas. If you think something is wrong with that, you got to understand just how women nature is. But it's one of those things where I'm not going to expect something out of somebody else if I'm not willing to do it for myself. So let's say, for example, right, I want a feminine woman who is loving and is caring and supportive. If I'm not a masculine man who knows how to provide, who is ready to protect, and is on his P's and Q's as a leader, I can't expect to get that type of woman. I'm just saying, there's got to be a fair balance, somewhere. I'm going to read a few of these, and then we're going to end the video. So Tonio says, the more we stop trying to do stuff that works for everybody else and find what works for us relationship-wise, you will get better. And what works for one does not work for all. Very true. I agree with that 100%. Katie Amoy says, first date was Walmart shopping. Now it's 10 years and 3 kids later. Golly. First date was Walmart shopping. I'm going to give some of my first dates after I read a few of these comments, a few more. So, Blanca Domo says, Black and Afro-Latinas like normal dates too. Who the heck wants to eat escargot? Please do not let these negative media outlets make you think otherwise. Facts. The Fit Chef Guy says, if she genuinely likes you, you won't need to take on an expensive date. Emperorless Lynn says, her effort gonna match yours. Most important statement in the message. Sean34 says, I will say this. If the connection is definitely there, doesn't matter where y'all go because y'all will enjoy each other. I love that. And we're gonna read this last comment. The Norma Day Corner says, if you actually like each other, it won't matter where y'all go because y'all together. Free game to fellas as someone who's been married currently for 14 years now. Respect, show her love, but in private, do some stuff. I'm not going to say it. Once you can do that on a consistent basis, start making more eye contact with her. In other words, keep the flame alive. Okay. Cool beans. So that's the comment section. I'm going to give a few of my final thoughts on that real quick, and then we're going to wrap up the video. So I'm going to tell you some do's and some don'ts for first dates or first couple of dates. This can be for my fellas and my ladies, truth be told, but it's especially geared towards my fellas because 9 times out of 10, we probably would be the one paying for the first date because we typically take the initiative, or at least we're supposed to. So, dates that you want to avoid on the first date. Restaurants, okay? Avoid restaurants. Why? Restaurants typically cost a bit of money. Now, are there some cheaper restaurants out there? Yes, but I'm not saying this is all ladies, but unfortunately, there are some out there that would just like literally try to get a free meal off you. You know what I'm saying? So maybe stay away from the restaurants. I mean, if you want to get ice cream or a smoothie, shoot, I was dating a girl a couple years ago, and our first date was at Smoothie King. So, and we had quite a few dates and had a very good time. So maybe avoid the restaurants. Definitely avoid the movies. Avoid the movies. Why am I saying avoid the movies? Because on your first date, you want to have a conversation with the person. You want to get to know them. I would tell you go to the restaurant before you go to the movies, because the movies you're just going to sit there and watch. Now, some people might be like, oh, we can go to the movies, and then afterwards, no. Don't do that, fellas and ladies. Don't do that. Because the goal for you guys when you go on a date is to connect, to see if you guys like each other. The more time wasted, I'm not saying that you won't have success. Obviously, there have been success stories, but the exception is not the rule itself. But you want to make sure that you set that motion from the start, that you are beginning to see if you guys will bond. You know what I'm saying? What are some good first date ideas just based on my experience? Well, again, you can get ice cream. You can get a smoothie. You can go for a walk in the park. Maybe go to the arcade. Do something fun for the first date. Go-karting, mini golf, right? I've been on a lot of dates with women, and some of my most memorable dates were ones in which we were actually going out and having a good time. You know what I'm saying? I remember one date, we went bowling. And then after that, we went mini golfing. I paid for bowling. We decided on a spur of the moment thing about mini golfing. She said, you know what? You took care of bowling. I wasn't expecting that. I'll take care of mini golfing. And then after that, we got some ice cream. So it's a lot of different things that you can do. And just know, and this is for my fellas and my ladies. I know we were talking about fellas just now, but if somebody really likes you, it won't take that much effort. They will want to see you they will want to make time for you. They will make sure they stay in contact with you, and so on and so forth. You won't have to play all these games to get them. It's a lot of dating gurus out here that tell you, oh, don't text back after the date, or oh, do this, do that, so on and so forth. Make sure you get it in on the first date, or by the second date, or by the third. No, don't listen to that, y'all. If it works for you, bottom line at the end of the day, it works for you, and then just go from there. If it doesn't work, that's perfectly fine. Then go on to something else. But most importantly, above everything that I just said, if this applies to you, cool. If it doesn't, take it for what it is. Make sure you put God in the midst above all that, right? Because I'm a firm believer that if you put God in the midst of, you going out, dating and whatnot, you will easily see if somebody is for you or if you need to move on to someone else. And I say that because I can tell you right now, the times in which I knew it was going to be a good idea to date somebody or not a good idea to date someone immediately was the times that I actually prayed about it before I went out there. Yes, and that's something I want to get back to. Believe it or not, I would pray before I went out with this person. God, is this a good idea? And I'm not saying I would always get something, but there would be times that I would get this eerie feeling like, not so much. And then either the first date just didn't go in a good manner, or maybe that person split before the first date. They probably ghosted me or canceled or whatever the case may be. So keep those things in mind too. Anyways, video's been going on long enough. Hope you enjoyed the doubleheader today. Leave a comment below. Tell me what you guys think. If I should do more of these, let me know. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Marcus Frage from Teachable Tuesdays, here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Thank you for joining me today. Greatly appreciate it, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.